family to me. Not only the fans, but the players, the staff. Everything about this place is my home.
Hello and welcome to the club. I'm your host Mars, and this is episode 16 of the Upper 90 Club, a roundtable podcast where five friends discuss the club history. On this episode, we talk to Legend Kits legend Philip Storer. We preview the USMNT friendlies against Serbia and Colombia while tiptoeing around the head coaching drama. And we run through a handful of crew updates. With me in the club are Ben, Mort, Trey, and Haas. Say guy highs.
Guy.
Hello. I'm glad to finally be speaking with you. We have had all kinds of technical difficulties tonight, but it's a pleasure to see each of you. Ben, do you have your tech figured out over there, bud?
Nope, everything's terrible.
All right. It's late. We've gone through a lot to get to this moment, so I think we should just get right to it. We were able to speak with Philip Storer from legendkits.com, and we're going to jump right into that interview. So buckle up. Yeah, all right. So we're here with Philip Storer from legendkits.com. Thanks for joining us, Philip. I know we had a little trouble getting started, but glad to have you here with us in the club. So welcome. Why don't you just kind of tell us about yourself and Legend Kits, and just so the listeners know what they're looking for when they go to the site.
Yeah, sure. I started the site right prior to the World Cup. I think I had the same reaction everyone did when they saw the U.S. men's national team kit leaks. It's just like reeked of such mediocrity that told the worst possible story about soccer in the United States, that it was just all we do is embrace mediocrity. Mm-hmm. And it crushed my soul. And what was so bummed about it is that I am in the middle of this campaign to indoctrinate my son into soccer. I want him to love it the way I love it, so that we can spend our lives together loving it.
Good luck.
And I just was so pumped about like getting him into the World Cup. I'm going to get him the USA jersey, and I'm like, what is this?
Pre-court.
Yeah.
And I was really bummed about it. And, I decided well, how hard could this be? I'm going to go figure it out. Well, turns out it's really hard.
Do you have design experience, or like how, what was your first step getting into this?
Yeah. So the first thing I did is I was looking around on Instagram at all these great concepts, and I sat down with my son and I asked him which one was his favorite, and he picked one. And I was like, yeah, all right. So I just slid into that dude's DMs and I was like, hey, can we make a shirt together? And that's how it all got started.
So is this a design task, or can we wear the kits?
Yeah, 100%. So the guys at Supporter Supply helped me get them produced.
Okay.
Love those dudes. If you don't want my shirt, get theirs. They're awesome. But I partnered with them to put it out there. And I decided after the USA thing was done that was me and my son just had a ton of fun together doing this. So we decided let's keep going, and we started doing shirts that honored cities. And we thought, why not start right at home in Columbus?
Awesome.
Well, that's awesome.
So you're based in Columbus. You're a Crew fan, yes?
Oh yeah.
What's your Crew origin story?
So mine comes through the national team. So my very first soccer game I fell in love with was Donovan scoring the stoppage time winner against Algeria. When I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. I understand what the rest of the world is banging on about. And then I got to go to one of the Dos Acero games, and that live atmosphere was unlike anything I'd ever been a part of. And I thought, okay, this is in our backyard. And it turns out this is a soccer town. Columbus is I feel like sometimes we have this like little brother complex where we're the youngest of four. You got Ohio State football and Ohio State basketball, and you got Browns fans and like you got hockey fans who are like, oh yeah, I am the soccer team.
There's no Bengals fans.
And I just was like, let's do it. Let's get into this. Let's get into live soccer. And I just had this new boy, and I was like, I'm going to raise this boy to be a soccer fan. And we're going to get into it together.
Yeah.
And so we started going to crew games.
So, tell me, where does the name come from? Legend Kits. How'd you come up with that?
That's kind of, so my real beef with the USA Kit, right, was that it wasn't just mediocrity, is that it lacked any kind of story, right? It didn't have any kind of tie to our history. It didn't say anything.
It's like the crickets emoji, right? It's just
I was like, nothing. What is this? This doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
And, it dawned on me that fundamentally all of design, all creative tasks is just storytelling. And, another word for a story that sticks is a legend, right? A story that you remember, that's a legend. And that's where it came from.
So you mentioned getting into cities and other clubs. What else do you have in the hopper?
So right now I've got Portland in the works. Because one of my best friends is from there. He's a big Timbers fan, so we're going to work together on that. And then I've also got a Galaxy shirt that's in the works as well. And that's not because I have any love for the Galaxy. I just love space and that kind of shit. And I had this like really great idea that the crest would be a big like galaxy swirl, and that this swirl would extend out in the design of the shirt. And I just had it in my mind that I wanted to do this. So I've got that in the works too.
Isn't the prototype on your Twitter?
Yeah, it is.
I saw that and I was like, oh, I want it so bad. I have like so much space stuff everywhere. Like I'm just like, I gotta have it. That shirt rules.
When I was really young in Columbus, I don't remember what the auditorium was, but I went with a friend of ours to go see WWF, and one of the wrestlers there was, I think he later was, what was his name? Triple H, Kevin Nash. Does that sound right? Anyway, he used to be called Diesel, and they sold those big hands, and they smelled like diesel, and it smelled like diesel for years. And so when you said Portland, I'm thinking like, sawdust. Could you like, I don't know. Maybe this isn't my forte, but sounds fun. It sounds fun to get creative. And so, and then the crew, do you have crew jerseys in the works? I mean, I think I've seen something, but tell us about that.
Yeah, I've been teasing out a Columbus focused jersey where I want yellow to be prominent. I can't stand any crew stuff that just doesn't have yellow all over it. And I wanted to kind of have that loud little brother saying, you can't keep picking on me kind of feel to it. Like, I want it to be loud. I want it to say like Columbus is black and yellow. Columbus is not scarlet and gray, it's black and yellow, right? And like that's who we are. I guess it can be both, but that's like the thrust of it is when we talk about we're massive, we just throw ourselves out there and we're just like, seeing somebody in the airport with a Columbus crew something on, it's just awesome. And I want to stand out, and I wanted to scream Columbus.
So anything other than jerseys?
No, right now it's just been jerseys. And the reason is, so I started this with my son. That's the only thing he'll wear. He will only, so I think I hit the indoctrination gas pedal a little too hard, and now he will only wear soccer jerseys. So, we just decided to make it a soccer jersey.
Sounds expensive. Yeah.
Well, he gets a lot of hand-me-downs.
I know the feeling.
No doubt. So, we talked about the most recent U.S. jerseys. Are there other legacy kits for the US or for the crew that maybe you don't draw inspiration from, but that do stand out, that you wish you could make a legend edition of?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Waldo for sure in U.S. men's national team. I think that's the beginning. That's the beginning and the end of the conversation. So I think anytime I work on a USA jersey, it's going to be some derivative of Waldo. And I think that's how it should be. We should have some kind of stylistic element that's us and it's our identity. And so definitely there. I take the much hated Columbus kit. What was it? The city one with the light blue and the yellow.
For Columbus.
Yeah,
for Columbus.
I love that. Yeah, I love that jersey. I just love that they just they just went out off.
Someone was leaning back in a chair and they're like, "But what about the flag? What if we did one with the flag?"
Yeah, but at least it's
there's-
something, right? Compared to that, though, to the white one that we just got, right, 2 years ago. The new design, even the new badge and all the drama around that, all it is it's telling the story of the shape of the roof. The font shape, it's meant to take those angles. All of that design on the shirt, it's the angles from the roof, and I just think they want to tell the story that we got this new stadium and it saved the crew in some way, shape, or form or another. But it didn't tell that story. It just told the story that we'd really like the roof.
Yeah.
The roof is just not that cool. I love the roof. Thanks for the stadium, but you don't need to put it on everything. I get it. Tell a story about our city and about who we are, not about the new roof that leaks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at least we have a roof as opposed to the old stadium.
Yeah. The old roof was very leaky. Yes.
When I'm paying for beers, I don't want my roof to leak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of the badge, you redesigned the badge, right? A little bit.
Yeah.
To make it specific to that kit. It looks sweet. That was the first thing I think I saw pop up on Reddit. Everyone was like, "What is this?" So explain kind of what the inspiration for the badge and stuff is for. It's sweet.
The badge is just meant to take a look at making Ohio Columbus crew centered, right? I just wanted something that was black and yellow that said this is a soccer town. That's about the extent of it.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, Philip, I know that you've been generous with your time. We appreciate you coming and talking about legendkits.com. I know at some point in the near future here, we're going to have a promo code, so we will rep that in a later slot. But again, appreciate you kind of telling your story and letting us in on the front end, and we look forward to seeing what comes out of it.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Thanks for having me, and thanks for creating this stuff. I love that people are just independent creators, just creating more and more soccer that we're all going to be better off for it.
Amen.
Hey, I have one follow-up question, if I
please
may.
Yeah, go for it.
Is there one jersey you can pick that sticks out to you as your favorite, since you obviously have a love for kits and jerseys, from the whole world, national team, whatever? What would that be?
I think my favorite is the most recent Barcelona gold. Have you seen that one yet? It's all gold, and it's the official one's kind of got this kind of shaped stamp in it, and I just think it's really slick. I love that. I loved what Japan did this year in the World Cup.
Yeah.
I loved what Mexico did in the World Cup. Those are the three off the top of my head, because those are the ones that are more recent in my brain. But those, I just absolutely love those three.
No, I agree with those picks actually. The even the Mexico, the white and kind of pink, or whatever color it is. Yeah, it's very nice.
That's awesome. Also, shout out to your posters too. Your posters are really well done.
Oh, cool. Thanks,
That's
man.
the first thing that Tracy and I noticed at work. We were like,
the man in the mirror one. That one's dope.
So the intention,
those are really great.
The intention with those, and I've kind of slacked a little bit. I'm actually trying to create children's books with big stories in U.S. men's national team history. And because I started reading to my kids, and my oldest doesn't really want to read books anymore. He wants me to tell him soccer stories. So I've just been kind of trying to remember all of the amazing things in our team's history. And so I was like, well, I should read him. I should make book. I wish somebody had these in children's books. And then I realized I should make these in children's books. So I started pulling those together, but I haven't gotten very far. So then I just released them as posters, because I've only gotten a little bit of the art done.
You should definitely do one about playing nice with your friends and teammates and how your parents shouldn't get involved.
Easy.
Settling playground disputes.
That is perfect.
Figure it out on your own.
Well, and our organization behaves like children. I think children's books are probably in order.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe we could send a box to the team.
All right, fellas. Well,
awesome,
good chatting with you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Have fun in Denver.
Thanks, man.
You can look up President Byrd. I think he's there.
All right, we'll
That's
talk
right.
soon.
That's right. See ya. The 2023 season is upon us, and with the new year brings us a new coach, a renewed excitement for the game, and endless twists and turns throughout the season. You're a part of our club, but it's time for you to join the team by becoming a season ticket holder. Visit columbuscrew.com/tickets or call 614-447-2739 to secure your experience. Listen, real talk here, we saved the Crew for a reason, right? We have the best fans in the best city in the U.S. Let's show up and prove it again. Visit columbuscrew.com/tickets online or call 614-447-2739 to secure your 2023 season tickets. See you at the game. And we're back. It's time to talk some Crew. See if you can sample that for future segments. All right. You know, there are a few things that we need to go over. Gosh, I feel like it's been a while since we've really talked about the Crew. We've had a lot of stoppage time that have been great conversations. Most
Too much
recently
stoppage time
with with Ryan Bailey, but from Total Soccer Show. But yeah, I feel like it has been too much stoppage time. Like it's like one of those times where there's like stoppage time, and then there's like a head injury, and then there's, then the clock doesn't work, and then the sub takes forever, and then there's a yellow card. And anyway,
because he's walking.
Let's get into it. I think the top of the list here is the signing of Christian Ramirez. Haas, do you have stats on him? What can you tell us?
Yeah, I got a few things. So Christian Ramirez, 31-year-old, 6'2" forward. We signed him from the Scottish Premiership side, Aberdeen. He's signed through 2024 with an option for 2025. Over 60 games in all competitions with Aberdeen. He had 18 goals and 5 assists.
Nice.
This last campaign, the current campaign, I guess, he hasn't been playing much for them. Kind of on his way out the door, I guess. And from 2017 to 21, he played for Minnesota United when they first joined the league. He then went to LAFC, to the Houston Dynamo before he moved to Aberdeen in June of 2021. So he really wasn't there all that long.
All right. Well, that sounds good, right? Is this good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is really good. And some of the stats from this year, when we saw the reaction of this signing from the Aberdeen side, they were very sad to see him go. And they actually blamed a lot of the performance this year to the new coach that they all want to have out, and Aberdeen having an awful year. I think we're just knocked out of the cup by some minor team or something like that. And they were very sad to see him go. They thought he was a quality player. And if he can get some numbers like he had in Minnesota, I know that's years ago, he had like 1 goal in every 2 games. So that's
what I remember.
That's a pretty good ratio, and he's generally a 1 goal in every 3 game kind of player. So I think we're getting some real quality that could be coming in, or actually also play as a pairing on top.
Yeah.
So I think this is very exciting, and it sounds like seemed like a quality guy that has been liked where he's been.
Well, and he's already joined the team in Florida as well, so he's already practicing with the team.
Ramirez. Yeah.
Yes. And worst case scenario, it's good depth and great for Jason Russell Rowe to be, it's just more experience around him. I know that's different playing styles, but it's just, he's got some experience.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. I think for, just having, going into the season, I saw just Jason Russell Rowe, the Pirate, behind Cucho. We definitely needed another striker, especially if we needed to have 2 up top. And I guess we didn't really have one. I was like, I don't think we should spend necessarily on somebody up top, but, re-looking at it, I was like, yeah, and the only thing is, just like with Mort, I only really remember him from when he was at Minnesota, and he was a monster when he was in Minnesota. And then I'm hearing that, people at Aberdeen were bummed to see him leave. So I think it's a pretty good pickup.
You're hearing from Mort.
Hey, let me put it like this. Hurtado was leaving. We backfilled it with him.
Yeah.
I'll take that. It probably for quite a bit more money, I would assume. But for the quality of the squad, any day of the week.
Yeah, I think the only negative is the fear that he won't pan out like quite a few other transfer forwards have been brought in. Hurtado, just to name one.
BWP.
Yeah, BWP. I mean, we could go down a list of quite a few of them. I think that's probably the biggest reservation I have. But we'll see what Nancy can do. And running two up top, probably they're going to need, that third person. I think he's a good pickup.
And just different playing style from what we already have. So just rounds us out a little bit,
Yep.
The other thing I noticed is his secondary position is considered a attacking midfielder. So I wonder if we have some injuries, like let's say Zel Ryan or more of that role, he can actually either come in and actually sub him out or come in as a backup as well. So that could be another part of this signing as well.
And then the Crew also signed homegrown product Keegan Hughes. He is a center back, so another spot where we need some more depth. 22-year-old, 6'3". He played for the Crew Academy since 2013, and then he went on to play for Stanford for 4 years. He's the captain throughout multiple years of his career at Stanford. He was the Crew Academy Player of the Year in 2018. And his senior year at Stanford, he started every single game. They finished in the second in the Pac-12 with a 12-2-6 record, and he had 4 goals and assists as a center back.
Nice.
Wow, that's a lot.
If nothing else, it's going to bring up the GPA quite a bit.
Right.
What are you saying about our current center backs?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good pickup. I mean, didn't he go to Toronto? Did I hear that? Did you say that?
I don't think so.
Am I crazy?
He went straight from the Crew Academy to Stanford and then back.
Huh. Well, okay.
All right. Fake news from Ben. Let's see. So I say that without looking it up. What else we got going on? Ben, you must have a laundry list.
Yeah, I was looking up Keegan Hughes because now I felt like a complete egg on my face. Someone look that up while we start talking.
I got it.
Well, the crew did. Well, let's start out with today. Breaking news. The Crew bought an international spot from Kansas City for $190K.
What does that mean?
That's what I was going to ask. Like, what is, like, are you? I didn't even realize MLS had like a certain number of international spots. You can just buy a spot to be like, hey, can I put a guy here that's not from the States? And it's like, I don't know. I was like, cool, we're going to get a foreign person, but also like, I didn't realize that was a rule.
It's one of those MLS things that I'm sure that is another way of making money and throw some money around. So I think that's one of the reasons why they have it. But it is probably to open up, like they said, another international spot. But I don't know what the restrictions and the numbers you can have is. So maybe that's the thing we should Google.
Yeah, I'll add that to my list here.
Yeah, it just seems weird. Like 190,000 seems like a very odd number. If that's
Well, wasn't it GAM or TAM or something? It's not real money.
Yeah, GAM.
Yeah, they're MLS making up all sorts of stuff. But I mean, that's cool. That means they're like loosening up stuff to grab. I mean, I think they have somebody in mind. I just don't know who that person is.
So you're allowed to have 8. You're allowed to have 8 slots. Yeah.
I think one of the ways to look at it also is, is the Crew going to be setting up to be picking somebody up? Did they need this spot for a reason? Maybe not right now, but maybe later in the season they're going to be looking to add more of an international type player. So it does give roster flexibility, which is nice. And when it comes to GAM and TAM, it's monopoly money.
The other thing I was thinking about is we did bring up at least one international, or Canadians consider international for the Crew. Probably not, right? It is?
Good question. I am not sure.
Yeah,
I think yes, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, so my thing is that we brought in a Canadian, so that could have taken up a spot. And if you want to move players up from Crew 2, and there are a couple of internationals on Crew 2, in order to be able to do so, you might have had to open up another spot. So that could be a reason.
Also, as our foreign correspondent, Morton, I feel like you should know that Canada is technically
a sovereign
foreign-
nation.
yeah.
No, but there are if within MLS there are 3 Canadian teams. So are they considered a foreign
I know. I'm
into
just
the
joking.
league?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. I
Yeah.
forgot. You're right, Mort. You're so
Yeah.
smart.
I see
So-
no evidence that Hughes was in Toronto.
Yeah, not even close. I'm sure he's visited, and I'm sure he's
That
played
might
there
also.
once
I don't
or
know
twice.
why you
but
even would say that.
maybe I thought Stanford was in Toronto.
You would need to tell us.
I don't know
if
where.
you thought
Does
that.
anybody know where Stanford's at? I don't think anybody knows where Stanford's at. It's a mythical land, a la Atlantis.
All right.
I don't know. Well, I'm bringing down the pods of GBA. Let's talk about that.
All right. Okay. So what gaps do we have to fill? Right. We say we've got the international spot now. I don't know that anyone really knows what that means. We got a couple new signings. What else? What other gaps do you think we have to fill?
I think this goes back to what we talked about with who we want to bring into the team, and we got to pick 1 or 2 players, right, in our questionnaire. So still something on the midfield and the outside, like a kind of a something about somebody to replace Etienne. Maybe somebody when Diaz have a Diaz day, they could come in and create some havoc. Probably something like that we still need, and of course a little bit more strength in the center of defense with some experience, but not as experienced as a Josh Williams.
Yeah, I think outside's kind of a good shout. If you think about it, though, we still have Mo if we bring him up. Sands can play outside. He loves getting up and down the wing. We have Diaz. We've seen the pictures of Yao Yaboa. Seems like he's definitely in the plans, or at least getting a lot of shots. Who else do we have on the wings? I feel like at this point we have wings decently covered. I'm just not excited about a bunch of them.
So we have Santos. No, we don't have Santos anymore.
Nope.
And then we're bringing in Jimmy Medranda. Medranda is what his name. He is a left back or left midfielder. So maybe that's what they're thinking, filling in that spot there with him. But if either of them get Morris or him get Sands or him get injured, I don't know who else can fill in there.
Well, and I've heard recent reporting stuff on Molino, and he's someone I've just kind of written off for years now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I think it was the Dispatch and just a recent interview of Nancy and Nagby, where Molino comes up and people are excited about him. So we'll see. I've had him written off to injury for forever now.
If he stays healthy,
Yeah.
he's awesome.
Yeah, and he was coming back a little bit, I would say, at the end of the season. He surprised me in a couple of games.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that. And he have made other players that people have been writing off come back and revive their career. Kamara, for example. So who knows?
So today we record. It's the 23rd of January. We should have this thing out in pretty short order. But how far out are we from some games? Has anything? I know that the season starts at the end of February, but do we have anything else to look forward to between now and then?
Yeah, the only things today was they announced a friendly, but it's behind closed doors, so we won't even see it. I was kind of hoping for a like a Florida Cup, how we used to play. They'd bring down like 2 teams and also have like the Tampa Bay, is it Rowdies or something like that? And they kind of play just like a round robin tournament, and it's kind of fun. And they usually have the one person recording on a VHS the entire time. But
We also played in Charleston quite a few times too, against like the Charleston Battery and
Charleston Challenge or whatever.
yeah, we played in that quite a bit.
So the behind closed doors one, is that the Rochester Rhinos? Is that the game you were referring to?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Why did you put this bullet here? Playing preseason games? Didn't you guys tell me something about Pittsburgh today?
Yeah, on February 4th,
All right.
We are playing Pittsburgh, but here in town. That's the only thing that has been
Oh,
posting.
Pittsburgh. I was
When
thinking
they released the
Rochester.
preseason schedule, they just talked about how they're going to be in a training camp where they are now in Port St. Lucie, or whatever in Florida.
Port St. Lucie.
Lucie? Lucie? Lucie?
Yeah.
Oh, that's stupid. That's English.
Cut this whole thing.
Yes, please. cut this off.
So yeah, they're down at Port St. Lucie until the 27th.
And then they're going to go down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida,
Yeah.
in February 6th through 18th.
Yeah.
And they have no games officially
Okay.
on their website, at least.
What about the Leagues Cup? Any info on that?
Well, first of all, is anybody excited for Leeds Cup? They're really pressing it. I don't know if you guys have been anywhere near the internet, but they are just.
I would tell you what, I'm more interested now than I was. How about that? That's the best
Yeah,
I can
I
do
agree.
because I'm lukewarm, but Club America has some draw to it. I mean, I would consider it maybe the biggest club on the continent or the northern Northern America.
Here he goes with the geography and what's what.
Watch those GPAs.
geez. Yeah, I have fried my brain.
I mean, so yeah, in addition to Club America, we also got St. Louis in our group. It is
Okay.
3-team groups. The top 2 advance from each group. No draws. I believe if it's tied, it goes to a shootout. The winner takes 3 points, and the loser of the shootout takes
1.
a point. There's some weird
Yeah.
point system they're doing for it.
Hockey style. Yeah.
Why not be a little excited about it? It's something new. I like the idea of seeing MLS teams face up against Liga MX teams that you don't always get to see. It's not just the
Yeah,
top
that's cool.
teams in Liga MX against just specific teams in MLS. So I'm excited to kind of compare, see how that plays out.
Now, is it home and away? Everybody gets a home and away game?
I don't know.
Yes, it's a home and away game. So, and the other thing is we don't play St. Louis in the regular season this year.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So that's another chance to see them, and which is also cool because my coach's son got picked up by them. So that could be fun to see him play, if he get to play.
I think there are some other groups where it's nice to, it's like, teams from the East and teams from the West that don't get to play each other every year in the MLS where they're in the same group. Not necessarily every group, but there are a few.
Yeah, I mean, I think I really am lukewarm on it, but I want to be excited about it. I want this to be like the next thing that, we're playing Liga MX teams and we actually get to travel to Monterrey and Azteca, some of the really big stadiums and have Wednesday games that we actually give a crap about. And
Yeah.
so I'm really hoping. I mean, Club America's a big club and St. Louis is new. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm going to go. I'll watch.
We can get a ticket to Champions League too, right? If we, the winner gets seated.
I think
to
the top 3.
Oh, okay, great.
Top 3 out of the whole tournament all get in.
And I think it's like summertime, right?
Yeah, it's a break from league play when the tournament takes place.
Okay.
So does only one person get out of the 3?
I think
don't
the
know if you
top
guys went over
2
that. I just
Top
missed it.
2.
The top 2
of
Yeah,
every
that's-
group.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it seems like the North American shift to just more soccer, more money, kind of like what, overseas does, which is totally fine. I'm all for it as a consumer.
Do you think it's a step in the direction of including the Liga MX? Because I know there's people that would like to move in that direction, a combination of MLS and Liga MX.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about that with the USL thing and the MLS Next Pro, where they just, the pro rail thing's not really happening, but it's more of a, Canada, North America, South America, or not South America, Mexico thing. I mean, yeah, I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. I just geographically, I don't know how that's a lot of travel.
They
Oh yeah.
airplanes. Just say.
Yeah, but but there's no real analog to that, right? I mean, where else in the world are teams traversing this kind of landscape?
Distance.
Yeah, I don't know.
The group stage is regional. So there's
Yeah.
There's the West 1, 2, and 3. There is Central 1 through 4, South 1 through 4, and East 1 through 4. So it is regionalized to try to help with that travel issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'll be a cool thing, and the travel consideration is definitely a big one to think about. But if MLS and Liga MX can shift to more of a Champions League type of, big clubs, big teams playing each other, where we can get excited about it, and then that way they're not bringing. Because I hate seeing, MLS All Stars versus Liga MX All Stars, in the All-Star game. Like that, it just doesn't do anything for me. Campeones Cup. Like, it's wonderful that we won it, but give me some sort of champion. Man, I just want it to be a complete us versus them showdown, and hopefully this can be that.
I also feel like a lot of fans of Liga MX think they're better than the MLS, just like a lot of people around the world. So I like seeing the competition.
Yeah. It's not only that, but their structure is incredibly confusing. So they actually have 2 champions in a calendar year,
right?
The Apertura and the Clausura. I'm probably butchering those, and I apologize.
Nah, you nailed it.
So it can be really confusing because it's not always champion versus champion, because they literally have 2 champions in a single year. Mm-hmm. So trying to figure out some of the bigger clubs down there and getting familiar with them to the American landscape can be something that could be very beneficial to both leagues.
And it's taking place from July 21st to August 19th. So it's a month off of league play. And it is only 2 matches per group stage. So you only play each other team once in your group, and the top 2 teams from each group advance.
One big thing about that tournament, too, is that as a season ticket holder, you get tickets for the home game against Club America. And I guess the St. Louis one you have to purchase separately, it seems like. But I think that's also to secure people with crew colors at the stadium against Club America.
But that is a home game against St. They're both at lower.com.
Yep.
Yeah, the silver lining would be what Club America's colors are yellow, so there we go.
So
more like
a
gold,
golden
isn't
lining,
it?
yes.
Yeah.
What else is going on in the MLS? Anything else worth noting before we dip our toe into the U.S. men's national team friendlies coming up here?
Well, we did get our coaching staff in place, so that's always good.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Yeah, Anansi got his assistant over from Montreal, Kwame Ampadu. Ampadu. I'm not sure if I pronounced that right. But this is a guy that obviously had that success with him in Montreal, but he has been all over the place. Very experienced, so I'm sure he's going to be a great asset for us.
Yeah, kind of bizarre. I was going through his stuff, and he was the assistant coach for CF Montreal. Before that, he was the assistant coach at Monaco in League One, which that's up there. And then coming from Monaco and Montreal, he has 4 caps for the Ireland national team.
Yeah.
Question mark. That. So it was interesting.
We're lucky to have him. Okay. So let's go into the U.S. men's national team. I hesitate for a number of reasons. There is a lot of drama, a lot of things to step in here. Also, one never knows where this conversation could go if we turn it over to Ben. So, with regards to the men's national team, we got a list of call-ups, right? Why don't we talk about who we should watch, and we'll take it from there. Ben, I'm going to leave it to you.
Yes, UN Smashing Men's national team. I said it right. Let's talk about. I don't think I'm going to go through the entire everybody they called up, but I did think it was kind of interesting. Yeah, because ain't nobody got time for that.
I just told you not to.
So, yes, good. Cool. I thought it was kind of interesting because they called up just a bunch of it wasn't just domestic people. It was, people that are, struggling overseas or aren't getting a lot of playing time. But so they have it pretty much across the board. I think everybody should kind of go through and just pick out one or two people that they were kind of surprised by, because for me personally, there was a lot of surprises, and there was a bunch of dual nationals that I thought were kind of interesting. Who wants to start out first? Yeah, Mort, you want to go ahead?
Oh, there are a couple of interesting one here, and I guess we will start with one that had gotten the most talk, and that's Alejandro Sendejas, which is playing for Club America, actually, that we just spoke about. He is a player that has played for both Mexico and U.S. in the U teams. And he's been wanting by both of them, and he's a very popular figure in Mexico and playing in Mexico. So the fact that he is very positive to coming out and playing was actually a little bit of a surprise, but also a very positive thing, they say. So be in the lookout for him. He's I think he's 20 years old. So he's still a young guy, but he's doing his work pretty well in the Mexican League. A lot of people think we're going to get more of these just because they think the U.S. national team players are more marketable for transfer to Europe than the Mexican players have been in the last few years. So that's one thing. This is a recruiting train, to put it that way. But
yeah,
I'm curious to see what he can do.
Yeah, I'm curious on the hype with him. I know that Mexico, he's played a decent amount for Mexico, but I was reading that he had a fallout with not Tata necessarily, but just the Mexican organization in general. So he wasn't terribly happy. So
we're bringing in a guy that has a problem with coaches and things. Is his parents coming too?
Careful.
Yeah, boy.
I couldn't help it.
It's one thing to note too that these games coming up will not cap tie him either.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an important note that, he is coming to play. It's good to see him in camp and playing with the team, but he's not necessarily committing full time to playing for the U.S. if he does play.
Who else?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I think there was and I'll let you kind of speak to this, Trey. I don't know if you heard this, but Brendan Vasquez, there was question on whether or not he would even accept the call up after getting, not even looked at under Greg. Besides that, who else you got?
I think this is an interesting roster to look at. Not only are there fresh faces that we haven't really gotten a really good look, but you've also got a lot of newer guys too. So, I one guy I'm going to pick is that I definitely want to see, and God forgive me, Ben, but I want to see Matthew Hoppe and what he can do.
There he is.
I want to see him play against more than U20 Middlesbrough players in England. I'm interested to see what he can do, if he can actually shake off, kind of the Greg stigma that he had and make an impact. And then besides that, I kind of want to see what Zendejas can do. And Vasquez will be good too. See if he can keep the train rolling and get himself a good move over to Europe.
Guys, we have yet to talk about the most important person on this team.
The only one we care about.
The only one that matters. Haas, please preach.
Sean Johnson.
Aiden Morris.
Sorry. What?
Excited to see Aiden Morris hopefully get some field time.
Yay!
Yeah.
He should.
Yeah, he should. He absolutely should.
It's the hardest working man out there.
And
He's
looking
good,
at
man.
the options, looking at some of the options here, I don't see any reason why he shouldn't get some playing time. I think he fits that young and upcoming profile, along with some of the other young MLS players here. A guy that I think can become good, also playing in MLS as young, is John Tolkien. I can't stand the guy, but that's how I know that he's a pretty decent player. So I'm kind of curious about seeing him too. But I think we're going to play with some of these young guys. I think some of these old guys are in here just to either giving them reward for years of service, or to be kind of that the older guy holding the younger guy's shoulder and make sure
chaperone
around their shoulder, chaperoning them around. Because there's some older players here that I have I don't understand why they're even on here. They're like late 20s and never had a shot.
I'm trying really hard to stop saying that I hate certain players, but every time I hear John Tolkien
The Hobbit.
and his mullet and his hand tattoos,
Yeah.
just in his Red Bull,
Big feet.
I hope he can do something for the national team.
Did you say big feet?
I did not. Faust did.
I did. Talking about The Hobbit.
I used to dislike Walker Zimmerman
Yeah.
almost the same way.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't care for him at all. He kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, but like the
somehow.
attitude that Tolkien comes with just rubs me the wrong way. And maybe it's just a crew fan perspective on that. And
We have heckled him quite a bit in that corner when he comes out warming up there, when he comes back from injury, and he has some reactions. So that might be a part of it too. And I think he came in and scored too, so that didn't help.
Man, he's a monster. I rate that guy high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he's awesome. I do have, I mean, the mullet, sure. I know he cut his hair and he's kind of regrowing it back out. I did have an issue, and I definitely pointed out the fact that he has like no other tattoos, but he had like a hand tattoo a couple years ago. And I thought that was obnoxious.
The important
But
stuff.
all told, he's really young and he is feisty. Man, he is good, and he's good on the ball, and he's tough. He's tough as nails. I think his ceiling is super high. I'm really excited to see what he can do.
There was actually some transfer talk about him now in this window. So, and the window is still open, so who knows?
So we got a couple friendlies. Wednesday the 25th, playing Serbia. Saturday the 28th, we're playing Colombia. And will we know anyone else on the field?
I know where you're going with this.
The Cucho.
So, yeah, that is the
So,
Cucho, yeah.
So what are we gonna do? What do you guys think? Who do you think's gonna prevail? I mean, Colombia is such a great team, but Cucho on the field, Aiden Morris on the field. Do we have any predictions for these games? Is this just like I mean, I know they're friendlies, and so like the competition level is.
I will predict that they're going to be relatively boring to watch, but I'll still watch it.
Yeah. Got to see if
That's
our
my
guy
prediction.
gets some playing time. Got to see what some of these young guys look
Yeah.
like, right?
Like we kind of talked about earlier, it's the furthest away from a World Cup you can possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
So you really think Serbia's bringing their A team or
practice for the
their
practice.
F team?
I mean, I don't think, is there anybody on this team, maybe one or two, that was on the World Cup team? So like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're definitely bringing our C, D team or whatever, but I think it's a good, I mean, most of the names I'm excited to see, honestly, because I didn't get a good look at them under Greg, and most of them are young, and I'd say a third of them are dual nationals. So it's exactly what you want. Bring them in, reward some of the old guard with, like Julian Gressel. I don't think he'll be around in 2026, but some of these guys are young. Like, get them in there and see what they can do. I mean, I'm expecting zero out of this. I did think it was.
there's some guys in here. Sorry about that. Go ahead, Ben.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I thought it was super cute that when Aiden Morris did his call up, Cucho, commented with like heart eyes all the way across, and then when Cucho got called up, Aiden Morris did the exact same thing. It just goes to show that
they're
they're
so
the
cute.
best of friends.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Yeah, I mean, this roster, it is what it is. Like Matt was saying, there's a bunch. This is the furthest away where we are from a World Cup period, but there are some guys in here that could make an impact in 4 years. They're currently 24, 25 years old. I think Paxton falls into that role, and they could be more of a veteran presence on the World Cup roster moving forward. So it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. I think the Aiden Cucho thing is probably the number one thing I'm looking forward to.
There are 2 free agent on here, though, so maybe we can pick up a player or 2.
The idea in the future of Brothers Aronson on the field, that'd be just kind of cool storyline.
Sounds like a mead company, Brothers Aronson.
That sounds stressful.
Yeah, I don't know if I can handle that. Ben might
Yeah, a
be.
little too
Well,
hectic.
losing himself.
luckily, as we have stated, the stakes are non-existent. So it'll be nice to see the team. We can keep an eye on some of these players, and then we can familiarize ourselves early this time. Hopefully we'll get to know some of these folks, and some of them may actually make the squad here in 4 years. So we don't know what will happen on the coaching front. That's all I'll say about that. I think that's all we got. Anything else, guys?
Yeah. Did you do the oopsie doos, or did I already knock out of that one? Are you refusing to do the oopsie doos?
Yeah, I mean,
There was a pretty good
I
one.
think my opinion is pretty well known that I think that what we do is great, and the fact that you called the crew winning the World Cup on our last episode, I know that you wanted me to mention that. I guess it's worth mentioning because it's ridiculous, but I won't apologize. You know, I know you're a human, and I know what kind of human you are. So
Yeah, but you said pendant instead of pennant.
I did.
Yes. You kept saying, "Yeah, it's shaped like a pendant,"
and
I was just
saying
like,
it.
like
I
a
kept
brooch?
saying it. Like I said it more than once. It's like
you wouldn't stop saying pendant.
all right.
Yeah, like we got so many emails, tweets, MySpace comments. Like people were sliding in DMs left and right.
Live
Taking out
journal
angles.
blowing up.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My Angel Fire page got shut down with
Yeah.
all the comments.
All right. We have again devolved. Thank you, Ben, for interjecting this segment.
You're welcome.
I think we're done. This has been this has occurred. Go crew.
Go crew.
Yeah.
Go
Go
crew.
crew? Question mark.
Oh man. Thanks everyone for joining the club. We hope you'll listen next week and every week, even in the off season, to celebrate or commiserate. We'll save you a seat. If you like this podcast, please give us 5 stars and subscribe. You can email us at upper90clubpod@gmail.com. That's upper90clubpod@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at upper90clubpod. Go crew. But now I'm questioning if I know what a pendant is. But like, what is a pendant? Is it like a brooch?
It's like no.
I said
Yeah, I
said
thought so.
brooch.
Oh, you did? Okay. All right.
And I also feel like brooch is a French word, so it all kind of like ties together.
That's brioche.